everybody. It is me, MrGamingGuitarist, and I hope everyone had a nice Christmas. And for those of you that don't celebrate Christmas, happy holidays. Well, anyway, I did something I wasn't expecting I would do last night. I saw the Hateful Eight in 70mm. Well, to be more specific, it was called the 70mm Roadshow. And holy shit, it was amazing. Now, I always, Quentin Tarantino, I always loved his movies. I'd say my favorite Tarantino movie is still Kill Bill, but I really enjoyed the hell out of Pulp Fiction and more recently Django Unchained. But this is my first time seeing the Hateful Eight. This is my first time seeing a new Tarantino movie on its release day, and this marks a lot of firsts for me. Like, this is my first time seeing a movie in 70mm. This is my first time seeing a road show, and the whole experience. See, the thing is, me and my friends, we went out to really far, like, I think it was maybe 10 or 15 miles away. That's where the closest theater that was playing the 70mm version at. So I went there, and they handed us out a book. And I'm sorry, I'm so unprepared, but I'll be right back. Okay, so they gave us this book here, and it's pretty much like, say you get a bunch of screenshots, and feel like a librarian all of a sudden, reading to children, a cast. Like, it talks about the movie, and then right here, it mentions specifically what 70mm is. There's a poster of Michael Madsen, and more screenshots, and here it talks about what road shows are and how this is so rare and is the first new one in several years, and and then back here shows all the cities that this road show is playing at. And so the whole presentation, like, I felt like I was in a time machine. Like I was going back to the 60s, and it was one hell of a time. And so pretty much, like, lots of people I've seen online saying, what the fuck is 70mm? Well, 70mm is a very outdated format, and pretty much it's used on film, of course. And also the other thing too is the aspect ratio. Like, it is extremely wide. I believe it said right here, it was, because I think it said, like, most movies today are filmed in an aspect ratio of 1.85 to 1 or 2.39 to 1, but 70mm is the aspect ratio, and that is 2.76 to 1. And pretty much the thing is, what that means is it's wide. Like, when you go into the theater and you watch the movie, like, you actually have some. This is the first movie I've seen in theaters where you actually have to turn your head to look at who is speaking, because that's how. God, sometimes I feel like an illiterate person. Trying to, like I said, mentioned in other videos, it's very hard for me to describe something I like, but very easy for me to talk about why I hate something. So anyway, take that with a grain of salt. Anyway, so when you look at it, it's just a very wide shot. And before that, they played an overture, which is like where they play a song from the movie for a few minutes. And there were no previews, no trailers, none of that. And of course, this was all shot on film, like actual, real film. And so when we saw, so the movie was also in film when we saw it, and I don't think I've ever seen a movie in theaters in film before. I think ever since I saw my first movie in theaters, the earliest one I can remember was the original Stuart Little. I think that was maybe 1998 or 1999. I think even back then everything was already using digital, I believe, but I'm not too sure about that. But and it said that the only other movies that have been filmed in 70 millimeter are Ben-Hur, Mutiny on the Bounty, It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, Battle of the Bulge, and Cartoon. Okay, I don't know how the hell you say that, but it says it right there. Where the hell is it? That one, Khartoum. I don't know how the hell you say that, but that was in 1966, last time. So it's been 49 years since a movie was shot in 70 millimeter. And so, anyways, and the lenses that were used to film this movie are the same lenses that were used to shoot the chariot sequence in Ben-Hur. That's pretty incredible. But anyways, so I've been talking long enough and wasted too much of your precious time talking about the actual experience of 70 millimeter. So it was incredible. I've never seen a movie like that. But anyways, it just feels like I transported back in time. And as for the movie, it was fucking incredible. I loved it. Because, see, a lot of the two biggest movies this year that really surprised me are ones that seem to have a very simple premise, but it's executed so well, and that it ends up being my favorite movies of the year. Like for me, like Mad Max, Fury Road, I really loved it because you just were not expecting that movie to be as good as it was, because it's been like exactly 30 years since the last one. And so, I mean, what is that movie really about? It's about a guy trying to survive it's about people trying to survive in the desert. On paper, it sounds kind of boring. It's like, okay. But then when you actually see the movie, damn. Okay, same thing applies to The Hateful Eight. What the hell is The Hateful Eight about? Well, of course, I will not spoil the movie, but it's about 8 people that meet each other in a cabin. And it takes place in the 1800s. That sounds pretty boring on paper. But, oh god, when you see the movie, there's a lot, like, I know lots of people are decisive on Tarantino's writing, but I like it a lot, and it's just very funny just seeing all the characters interact and how they go on, and each character has a story to tell, and just I really enjoy it. There was lots of funny moments in it that I will not ruin in here, but all I can say is, if you like Tarantino movies, you're gonna love this. And if you don't, well, you're not gonna like this. So, pretty much. And for those of you that have never seen any Tarantino movie before, were you born yesterday? And the other thing, too, is, like, I was a person, I don't really like westerns at all, but I don't even know if you can call this a western, but like this is heavily inspired by westerns, but the unique spin on it, it's like I can't really talk about this movie without spoiling it, and I'm not going to spoil it, but all I can say is, if you see this movie in 70 millimeter on the Roadshow, you are absolutely in for a treat. I mean, when was the last time you saw a movie that had an intermission? It does that. And the title sequence, I mean, shit, when was the last time you saw a movie where the soundtrack was made I forgot his first name. I'm really glad they gave me this book, or this pamphlet, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Ennio Morricone. When was the last time you saw a movie where the soundtrack was made by him? Yes, the Ennio Morricone, the guy that made the soundtrack to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. That guy. He did the soundtrack to this. It was the first time a score was made in a Tarantino movie. So anyways, all I can say is I give this 5 out of 5 stars. And I'm sorry if I bored you, but this was just me doing this unrehearsed, off the cuff, just me giving you my thoughts on the experience, seeing the Hateful Eight in 70mm, and you are absolutely in for a treat. So that's it. Did you see the movie? Share. Please leave a comment below, and you can also follow me on Patreon. You can support the channel over there. I would appreciate it. You can also check out my podcast that I do every Saturday. I'm not doing one this week, but I am posting a special episode of it today. So on the N4G TV YouTube channel. And yeah, that's it. So thanks for watching if you made it this far, and I will see you on my next video. Goodbye.